Hey everybody, and welcome to the GMG review. I was going to do a sing-song version of Donovan's Season of the Witch, but I didn't think that was a very topical or timely reference. So instead, you're just going to get a book review for Warhammer Age of Sigmar, Age of Season of War. That's where the season part came in. That was going to be the joke. The joke you guys weren't going to get, so I just reined it in. I just stopped myself. I was like, you got a little too much coffee, you're just not going to do it this time. And this was kindly sent to me as a sample copy by Games Workshop. So what is this book? Well, this is a Season of War Thondia is what it is. A lot of people thought this was going to replace the General's Handbook as the way to play games over the course of a season of Age of Sigmar. I don't believe that to be the case. This is actually going to be a supplement to the the general handbooks as they come out, which give us sort of like the core tournament-y pick up and play rules for playing Age of Sigmar. And they give you this gives you a bespoke sort of way of doing a campaign weekend through matched play. It's themed match play, I guess would be the best way of explaining it. And some additional rules for Incarnates and a new Anvil of Apotheosis for playing Path to Glory games, and of course narrative play. So what do we got? Well, we got a history of monsters, the Realm of Beasts, the Beast Awakened, the Coast of Tusk, Savage Landmarks, Summons to War, all of the background-y stuff you'd expect in a Games Workshop publication for 3rd edition Age of Sigmar. And then we get the Cron Incarnate of Ghur, which is a new thing that's been added in. What is it? Well, it's basically the spirit of where you are right now, and I'm assuming that all of the realms will get one of these at some point. They've started with the Lord Beast one. You can see him right here. They're all fighting around him. He's a big monster skull floating with magic goo, and he fights people attached to a hero. His rules are kind of unique and kind of neat, and I could definitely see these ending up. It's a monster basically for not a ton of points. That's kind of insanely hard to kill because it's really hard to kill in a single round, and unless the hero it's attached to dies, you're almost guaranteed this thing is going to be around at the end of the game. Get realm rules for the realm, the War and Thondia battle pack, and then the Summons to War battle pack, which gives us a bunch of additional stuff. And then an Anvil of Apotheosis. So what does that mean, Anvil of Apotheosis? I started work on Realm Quest 2 Electric Boogaloo using these new Anvil of Apotheosis rules. I've been waiting to do it for a while. I'm excited to do it. I think you guys are going to enjoy some more Realm Quest coming down the pipe, because I've been waiting for them to basically give us a new edition Anvil of Apotheosis in order to get that done. Because I don't write for Games Workshop, but I like writing ways to play their cool game rules. Refers to the core books, got all your backgroundy stuff here. And this is kind of like a TLDR. If you don't have the last 10 books, you basically get what's been going on in Ghur by reading this, and you can see it kind of refers to all the big releases. So the dragons, the Beast Awakens, Krondus going and blowing everything up, being Krondus. The Stormcast showing up and being Stormcast. The Orcs waking up. The emergence of the Cruel Boys. And then a history of this stuff. And then the Heart of the Beast, which is when the Incarnate awakens, and that's where we're at now. So here it is. We have the Incarnate exploding into the realm. Lots of cool monster expositions with lots of cool concept art as well. Just get onto the rules. No one cares about the pretty pictures the way you do. You're gonna care. I'm gonna make you care. We're gonna look at them because I think they're so rad. Look at this old school style art. The pencil just made me happy. All right, here we go. The rules. Incarnates, Realm Rules, the War and Thondia Battle Pack, New Path to Glory, Anvil of Apotheosis, Summons to War, and Strife in Thondia. So here we got the Incarnates. All right, what is this thing? It's a big spirit of the realm. You can only use them when you're playing in that realm, although I imagine for match playing events and stuff like that, they're going to want to sell these, so they're going to become available in tournaments and stuff too, regardless of what the battle pack is. But this one is the Cron Incarnate of Ghur. Notice its modified stat line. Notice it doesn't have wounds. Ain't that crazy? Instead, what it has is a state table. It starts the game empowered at level 3. It can be primal at level 2, weakened at 1, and if it ever goes to 0, it's dead. It effectively, for all game rules, has 18 wounds. Now, when you add it to your army, it costs 400 points and is one of your behemoths. The behemoth. from Naughty's movie reference. Okay, and you have to bond it to a hero. So bonding is basically the state of this thing is attached to a hero in your army. It gives passive buffs to the army. And on top of that, if this guy ever dies, it goes wild. And when it becomes wild, it becomes an unbound monster that both sides can attack. Will charge the closest thing, and generally just starts eating people because it's a raging monster. It doesn't do good things if you don't have someone controlling it. So bonding. It must be bonded to a hero in your army. Bonding to an incarnate hero is a unique enhancement, so it is an enhancement, right? So think about that. You can't give that hero another enhancement if it is enhanced. So it's an enhancement. Record which hero the incarnate is bonded to in your army, and also eats up one of your enhancements. A hero cannot be bonded to more than one incarnate, and an incarnate cannot be bonded to more than one hero. An army that includes an incarnate cannot use any of their allies. However, an incarnate can be included in an army even if it goes over point value. He's a Gotrek, basically. And Gotrek, the incarnate of being murdery. Then he has that actually would be a cool way of handling Gotrek. I hope they do that. I'd be into that actually. If they remade Gotrek as an incarnate of, I don't know, slaughter, fire, something, and have him be bonded to a hero, and he just gets bored and wanders off if you unbond him. It's the Felix and Gotrek thing, right? Wild form. If the hero and incarnate is bonded is ever slain, the incarnate reverts to its wild form. An incarnate in wild form remains part of your army, but treats other units in your army as enemy units. In addition, special rules to an incarnate in its wild form as described on the World Scroll. So designers note once an incarnate reverts to its wild form, it can attack and be attacked by units in either army. Remember that a model must attack in the combat phase if it's able to do so, which may force you to attack units in your own army with the incarnate. So just stay away from it and it won't go after you, but it will fight both sides. And it is still a unit in your army, but it treats you as hostile, so you have to kind of see the rest. Incarnates have states. Each state has a level and a domination range. Incarnates start at level 2, primal. Sorry, empowered goes if you go up by 1. Under certain circumstances, an incarnate's level can go up and down. When this happens, their state changes to the new level. Damage, wounds that are allocated to incarnates in the same way as other models. However, because an incarnate doesn't have a wound characteristic, it cannot be slain. Instead, in the battle shock phase, if any wounds are allocated, roll 3d6. If the roll is less than or equal to the number of wounds on the incarnate, its level is reduced by 1. Then all the wounds allocated to it are healed. So just for statistics speaks, 3d6, the average roll is 11. So if you have less than 11 wounds allocated to this guy, that's 11 wounds on a 4+ save monster, you have to do it in one turn, then all the wounds get healed and go away. If you roll higher than that, then you basically, so you have to roll 12 to beat 11. Like you have to basically spike higher than that. And then it goes down a level, basically, and loses an empowerment level. And if it ever goes to 0, it's removed. Incarnate War Scrolls, so you have bonding, empowerment, and wild form. So back to the War Scroll itself. It's 400 points. You're going to get a move 12, bravery 10, 4+ save, infinite wound effectively if you don't do the wounds to it fast enough. Incarnate Ghur. Now, it has Vicious Claws, which are 1-inch range, 6 attacks, 3+, 3+, -2 damage. That's pretty cool. But it adds its level, its empowerment level, to its attack value. So it starts with 8 attacks, 3s and 3s, -2 damage. Plus a Tearing Fangs at 2-inch range, 3 attacks, because you add its incarnate level, so it's 1 plus its level. 3s and 2s, -3, 4 damage. So when it starts off, like, it has Bonkers Rend. You can, of course, only with the character it's bonded to, you can issue it commands. So you can have it hit on 2s. And it has a starting potential of 16 plus 12, 28 wounds in combat. On a fairly decent, you'll reliably get 18 to 20 damage out of this thing, probably a turn. So think about that, 18 to 20 damage. And it does monstrous rampages too, because it's a monster. It's Incarnate Ghur monster, Cron Incarnate. So this thing can just dumpster a 20-man unit, potentially, of almost anything in the game, every round, if it's in combat. It can fly, because it's made from orange goo. It's bonded to a hero. If the all-out attack is ever received by an incarnate, the command is also received by all friendly units wholly within the domination range. So if you command it to all-out attack, everybody within 10 also all-out attacks. As long as they're also within 3 of a enemy unit, and then have not already received a command this phase. Add 1 to the casting, dispelling, and unbinding rolls for wizards that are within domination range of the Incarnate that are bonded to. And then empowerment, if a monster is ever slain by wounds inflicted by this guy, he increases level by 1. So he can push his level back up just by killing monsters. So woe betide the army that has lots of little monster classed things in it. You do not want to have tons of like baby monsters, like the I think the Slaves to Darkness have some baby like I think the what is it, the Cygor thing, or even like taking smaller Gargants, 12 wound Gargants in a Mega Gargant army. This thing will like push its level back up immediately and go to level 3. Because yeah, doing 12 wounds to a Mega Gargant, or just sorry, to a Gargant, and he could potentially kill a Mega Gargant, but doing 12 wounds to a Gargant would be super easy for this thing. Wild form, add 1 to hit rolls for attacks made by this Incarnate when it's in its wild form. So once it goes wild, it's always hitting on 2s. This Incarnate can run and charge in the same turn while it's in its wild form. If this Incarnate is in its wild form and within 12 of a unit or an endless spell at the start of a charge phase, it must attempt to charge and must make a charge move if it's possible to do so. You would still pick, if there's more than 1 unit, you would probably still pick where it moves to. But remember that, because it's still a unit in your army, but you have to be careful about positioning your units around it now when it goes wild. Inflamed Savagery, the following effects apply to all units that are wholly within range of its domination. They can reroll run and charge rolls. They can't retreat, and if they're a wizard and that's not bonded to the Incarnate, it's -1 from casting, dispelling, and unbinding rolls. So keep your other wizards away from it, but also free charge rerolls and run rerolls, and they can't retreat. Pretty cool. And then Arcane Predator, and this is a really neat one. In your charge phase, if this Incarnate is within 12 inches of an endless spell summoned by an enemy wizard, it can attempt a charge, and it can make a charge move as long as it ends within ½ inches of an enemy model or that endless spell. In addition, this Incarnate can carry the Devour Endless Spell Monstrous Rampage instead of any other Monstrous Rampage. Pick an endless spell that's summonable and within enemy range of the wizard. Roll 2d6, that was summoned by an enemy wizard and within 3 inches of this Incarnate, and roll 2d6. Add the Incarnate's level to the roll, and if the roll is greater than the casting value of the spell, then it's dispelled, and the level of the Incarnate's increased by 1. On any other level, it's reduced by 1. So most endless spells are relatively easy to cast, and you're adding 2 to this roll at one of your primal. It would be very, very, very poor idea to put an endless spell near this thing early in the game, because it would almost give you like a free charge / level it up. And you could still rampage, like if it's an endless spell, it's near, like if it's like the rune that the Lumineth use, you could charge into the rune, then eat it, then still fight in the combat phase after the monster rampage, the end of the charge phase, against all the Lumineth that are nearby. So like, this thing is great for breaking up those bubbles around endless spells. Doesn't do anything to the prayer ones though, the not triumphs, whatever they're called, the invocations. Doesn't do anything to those though, so is still pretty great. And then your states, 12-inch range domination at level 3, primal at level 2. Level 2 is 10, and then weakened is 8 at 1, and abolished is 0, and it's gone. But I'm excited about this for a pretty simple reason. It's something new. It's a new way of looking at stat lines. It has a brand new core mechanic for how it takes wounds and damage, and it's just cool, and everybody can use it. So I'm into it. Bring on the Incarnates. Make Gotrek Incarnate. Use these like Incarnate rules, bonding rules for other things that don't make sense as allies that could go into armies. I think it's cool as hell, and I'm excited to paint one because it's just orange goo with bones. So it's gonna be fast, it's gonna be dirty, it's gonna go in all my armies because it's a cool monster. It's gonna replace the Mega Gargant in my Death Army. All right, Realm Rules. This is just basically a reprint of the Realm Rules from the pitched battle for Ghur, or from the General's Handbook for Ghur. So the War and Thondia battle pack is kind of exactly the same, but you do get points limit rules. You get a open war battle pack basically for randomly generating missions. So it's 1,000, 2,000s or over 2,000 points. Your recommended minimum number of terrain features for the battlefield, and then you actually randomly design your territories and a victory table. So this is open play. It's kind of like the open war pack for 40k. It would be a fun way of doing like a gaming night and randomly generating missions. You have twists, arcane prizes, and ruses, and then the Thondia Path to Glory battle pack, which gives us extra Path to Glory rules and quests. Try and find an Incarnate or be a hero and go kill monsters and territories and stuff, which I think is neat because we do like the narrative play stuff. And then, here we go. I'm so excited about this. The Anvil of Apotheosis. It's got some new stuff in it. It's not that different from the original Anvil of Apotheosis, but it's no longer used in match play. So they let the first one be used in match play. People didn't really use it because it didn't make a great hero. But you can now use all the new current keywords and stuff. So like if you're a demon, you can get yourself all the demon keyword or the different faction keywords. If you're Dwarden, you could be Cities, Fireslayers, or Caradron. If you're a Gore, you could be Disciples of Tzeentch or Beast of Chaos. It's updated basically. Like if you're an elf, you could be a Daughter of Cain, Idoneth, Lumineth, or Cities. It lets you be more sort of like edition compliant. Still 20 or 40 Destiny points, and there are some new types as well, like your Iron Jaws. Cruel Boys are in here now. Skeletons, Skinks, and Vampires. Bone Reapers, Ogres. Mordants were already in here. They added all the undead stuff actually in a White Dwarf expansion, the last one, so this isn't that new. And then your armory, different weapon types. New archetypes, commanders, acolytes, and mages. There's a priest one. I wish they would put in like more classes, and that's probably what I'll write for Realm Quest. Is I'll write more classes like rogues and assassins and maybe some like battle pack issue. I got some ideas. This is the part I think where I'm gonna, when I make like the solo adventure game out of this that I made last time, I'm gonna start expanding. Right, because you've got the, if we're talking D&D terms here, you've got the pick your sort of like your background, and then pick your gear, and now it's pick your class. And the pick your class thing I think you could do a bit more with. So that's where I'll probably start writing. And then Bestial Companions, characteristics and upgrades, and using your hero in battle. More battle pack stuff for narrative play, and then here we go, Strife in Thondia. This is the match play one. So, like I said, Strife in Thondia is like a themed campaign weekend of either 1,000 or 2,000 points. You're playing on 44 by 60 no matter what. You have at least 8 terrain features. You pick a faction, your battlefield roles, and your battalions. And then there are 6 missions in this, and you go to war, and you use these battle plans. Now, this is where I said it's basically reprinted this stuff from, this basically almost like archives this stuff in the last GHB. So you have all the core battalions, Monster Skill Pack, Hunters of the Heartlands, and Incarnate Masters of Gur. It's a new one that allows you to take the Incarnate. The one for that is Realm Soul Affinity. Now, I don't think you can use these outside this battle pack. So I don't think this adds to like core matched play, because it says you can include any of the following core battalions in your army in addition to those found in the core rules. In addition, you cannot use the same core battalion from those shown below more than once in your army. So this, I believe, these 6 missions and this are just for this pack. But basically the Realm Soul Affinity, 1-drop deployment rules for core. The Incarnate in this battalion must be bonded to a hero in this battalion. In addition, the Incarnate in this battalion only reverts to its wild form once all the other units in this battalion have been destroyed. So a really good battalion for taking an Incarnate, because you bond your hero to it, but then you just take 3 core units or 3 like other units on top of that, and everything has to die for it to go wild. That's a huge deal. Yeah, so definitely worth taking. Hunters is the same, can't monster rampage them, and Monster Skill Pack, once per battle, they can Titanic Duel all of them. They cannot carry out any other monster rampage in that phase, and no other monsters can carry Titanic Duel. So all of them can do a Titanic Duel at once. And then Grand Strategies, Lord of the Incarnates. When the battle ends, you complete this Grand Strategy if there's any Incarnates from your army that started and still not reverted to their wild form. Ruler of Mysteries, control more mysterious terrain features, Monstrous Presence. When the battle ends, you complete this Grand Strategy if there's more monsters from your starting army than there were your opponents. Pillars of Magic and Belief, more Wizards and Priests left. Sever the Head, no heroes left. Hold the Line, Battle Liner left. Vendetta, kill your opponent's general while your general's alive. And then battle tactics, Savage Ranks. When you reveal this battle tactic, pick a battle line unit from your opponent's starting army on the battlefield. And then if you destroy it, it's worth 1. It's worth an additional 1 if you kill it with a Cron Incarnate. So kind of cool. The Incarnate kills a battle line unit. Thondia Conqueror. When you reveal this battle tactic, pick a terrain feature with the Thondia Mysterious Terrain Scenery rule, and that's now controlled by your opponent. At the end of this turn, you get it, and you get this battle tactic. So basically take a piece of terrain away from your opponent. Destroy the Bonded. You basically kill a hero that's bonded to the Incarnate. And if you destroy it, bind attack made by a friendly Incarnate. So if you both have an Incarnate, seems weird. Then it counts as 2 instead of 1. There's a lot of these 2 instead of 1 battle tactics by using the Cron Incarnate. So it's basically, this is a match play campaign weekend that features Incarnates, and all of these double down. So like Amber Spearheads, Run Your Incarnates, Monstrous Dominance. 2 or more starting units in your opponent's territory at the end of the turn, and if one of them is an Incarnate's worth 2 instead of 1. 2 more friendly monsters in the battlefield than there are for enemy monsters. So there's at least 2 more friendly monsters than enemy monsters, and if one's an Incarnate, it's worth 2 instead of 1. Abolish the Incarnate. Run Incarnates. And that's your scoring sheet for the weekend for all 6 missions, and then the missions themselves. And you can see they're all fairly asymmetrical, which I think is neat. So these ones are symmetrical, but then you get into these weird asymmetrical ones too. The trap, the prize, and cut off the head. So 2 asymmetrical missions, and then 3 symmetrical ones. And it looks like a fun campaign weekend. I think it's cool because, one, it kind of like, this book will basically save what was in the last GHB from being like, I was like overridden, but like it'll be around now because it's in this book as far as like some of the core rules and ideas that were in here. The spells I think are in here as well from the Thondia Battle Pack. So like you can use the realm. Oh no, they're in the Realm Sphere section. When you go back to the Realm Sphere for Ghur, it saves all the, where is it? The rules. Realm rules. So in the Realm rules after the Incarnates, you have, the Mysterious Terrain, the Realm Command, the Realm Wizard. So Metamorphosis is in here, Feral Roar's in here, Monstrous Denizens. You can set up a random monster on the table. The Incarnates are allowed. And then the Mysterious Terrain. So if you have terrain that doesn't have a special rule, you roll for one of these. And those are all core rules for the area. And again, it's like a reprint of what's in the Realm Pack from GHB. So this feels like more like a, hey, this general handbook is about to end, and you're going to get a new one that maybe takes us to a new realm. So let's tie up the season with a cool campaign weekend. Some new rules for like the Incarnate in the area, and then that lets us launch whatever the next Season of War is. So I suspect what we'll see is on the timeline, we're going to get Season of War Thondia, we're going to get the new GHB, which will take us to a new realm, and then maybe late this year we see the other Season of War book for whatever that new realm is, and their Incarnate and stuff too. That's a total guess. I have no inside info, but that feels like the thing we're on, and that'll roll us over a year now, where we're not having multiple general handbooks every year. We're just having one general's handbook and then 2 Season of Wars at the end of one season and the beginning of the next one. So the Seasons of War will just start to like conveyor belt through. So we only got 1 Season of War book for Ghur, but whatever the new realm is, the new GHB is set in, I'm assuming we'll get a Season of War book probably late year for it, and then a second one as we go into whatever the next GHB is going to be after that. So I really enjoyed it. I like the theme like for the general handbooks. I don't know what the next one will be. They've done monsters, so hopefully it's something else cool. And maybe Incarnates will be the next one. Maybe like we'll see like the Incarnates be like the next theme, although they are kind of still monsters, so it kind of keeps in the monsters theme still, but I don't know. And that's going to be coming up hopefully this summer. So big thanks for watching. We'll see you for the GMG review. Until next time, I'm Ash. Happy gaming. Hey there, I hope you enjoyed that video. There are tons of other games already recorded for you to watch. Click over to my channel page if you haven't already, and have a look through the dozens of playlists full of videos. I guarantee you'll discover a game you haven't seen played before. I put out new videos 7 days a week, and every day is themed to a different genre as I continue to explore the wider world of gaming. Of course, none of that's possible without you, the viewer, so click a like and subscribe if you'd like to stay on top of what's happening here daily. My 2 kids and I are massively grateful to be able to have the flexibility of this job so I can always maximize my time with them. If you want to support me continuing to put out this content, it's only possible because of my amazing backers on Patreon who support the studio, equipment, and model cost, as well as being how I make the bulk of my living. You can also help out by buying a t-shirt through Spreadshirt, a measuring gauge or widget from Death Ray Designs, or buying one of my games and supplements like Last Days, Game of Wolves, and Blaster. As a way of showing my appreciation, patrons get early access to new games and supplements that I write throughout the course of the year. Huge thanks for watching, it really does help out, and happy gaming.